The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Use promo code SGPNBA to get 10% off of everything in the store. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Sunday early evening, currently 5:03 on the East Coast. Here to get into the new week of betting in Major League Baseball, talking about the Monday games, 11-game schedule on the docket, and we're going to break it down for you as we always do. But joining me to help me break it down on this Monday episode, you guys know him as the voice on the NFL Gambling Podcast, and of course here on the MLB Gambling Podcast. In high spirits, Devils got it done. Knicks got it done. Got Sunday Night Baseball with the Mets, but they've been crushing it on the West Coast. It's D-Rock, Dylan Rockford. What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Munaf? Good to be with you. Yeah, good weekend. Devils got a big win. Knicks got a big win. That series is over. Mets cruising. Lost yesterday, but looking to close it out strong tonight, Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, it's an exciting weekend for New York fans for sure, man. That was a great
Not
win.
Brooklyn, though.
Not Brooklyn, yeah. Not. I don't know if there's many Brooklyn Nets fans. I think the only one I know of is Scott, our producer. But everybody else, I think they're mostly Knicks fans. But yeah, they got the big victory this morning or afternoon, early afternoon, we should say, against the Cavs. Like you mentioned there, they take a 3-1 series lead over the Cavs. They'll shift back to Cleveland. But hey, we're here to talk about baseball. Dylan, 11 games on the docket on Monday. Had some pretty good matchups over the weekend as well. I know we're still in the midst of some of the games for this weekend, but how's your betting been going, at least for the weekend?
Yeah, it's been pretty good last couple of days. So last week I am 28-24. I'm up a unit. Props have been going good. I went 4-2 yesterday, 3-2 today. So a little small profit there. Just still changing my numbers a little bit and getting the hang of things. But overall, good weekend. How about you?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. I had 2 home run props. I rarely play home run props, but I had Hunter Renfroe yesterday, and then also Fernando Tatis Jr. yesterday. They
I
both
saw
cashed.
you tweet out Tatis, and then he hit it. I go, Munaf really hit that. Yeah, no, it was good. You know who does a good job at home run props as well? Our friend Adam Rosenberg as well.
Yeah, he does really good as well. He puts out his props every single day as well. So make sure you guys follow him as well. I think he's at Hey Rosenberg on Twitter. So again, if not, just hop into the Discord, guys. It's a great time to hop in. The conversation's always popping, whether it's for MLB, NBA, MMA, hockey. All the channels are usually popping, especially around this time. All right, guys. So let's dive into this Monday schedule, Dylan. 11 games on the schedule, like I mentioned. First game on the board, it is going to be a 6:10 Eastern start. We have the Colorado Rockies. They are traveling to Cleveland to take on the Guardians. Projected pitchers in this game, I am seeing will be Austin Gomber for the Colorado Rockies, and Cal Quantrill gets a start for the Cleveland Guardians. Currently, I'm seeing lines plus 165 for the Colorado Rockies, minus 195 favorites currently for the Cleveland Guardians. Total set at 8. Looks like it's on the move to about 8.5, guys. I see VIG of minus 125 on the over 8 right now. Run line minus 1.5, plus 105 for the Guardians, and plus 1.5, minus 125 for the Colorado Rockies. Dylan, lead us off. Rockies versus Guardians.
Yeah, besides fading the Rockies on the road, which we love to do, we also got to fade Austin Gomber as well, man. He's awful. He's failed to get past the third inning in 2 straight games. He's just not a guy I could put my money on right now. Cal Quantrill, he's been getting better in each of his last 2 starts. I trust him way more than Gomber. Rockies 1-9 in their last 10. Guardians got a nice win today against the Marlins. So, I think this might be a good spot for them. Rockies traveling, Guardians staying home. I'll take the Guardians here on the run line. You could get plus money as well. So I'll take a stab there.
Yeah, I love the Guardians on the run line here as well. I mean, you just mentioned it. Austin Gomber just has not good so far this season. 0-4 with a 12-12 ERA. They've lost all 4 of his starts, have the Rockies, and they've lost 3 out of those 4 games at least by 2 runs. The only loss that they didn't win by more than one run was against the Washington Nationals back on April 8th. But I do trust Cal Quantrill more at home. I know we've talked about him a lot on the pod here, Dylan, but he's been pretty good so far this season as well. 1-1 record, but he does have a 4.15 ERA. I guess it is a little bit inflated because of that first start against Seattle this season, but he bounced back nicely in his last start, 6 innings pitched, 6 shutout innings, I should say, pitched. And I do trust him more in Cleveland. So I'm right there with you. This line is probably going to move to a minus favorite on that run line. So if you're listening to this earlier, if you're listening or watching us live right now, I would definitely hop on that plus 105, plus 107 is what I see for the Guardians run line. All right, let's get over to the next game of the night here. We have a 6:35 Eastern start. It's going to be a AL East matchup between the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Chris Sale is going to get the start here for the Boston Red Sox, and for the Baltimore Orioles, it will be Dean Kremer. Looking at the lines for this matchup, I am seeing the Red Sox are a slight favorite at minus 120. Orioles are at even money right now. Total set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 140 for the Red Sox, and plus 1.5 minus 165 for the Baltimore Orioles at home. Dylan, Red Sox Orioles AL East matchup. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I got 2 plays in this one. I'll take a stab at the home puppy, plus 110 for, I got a plus 110 for the Orioles. Still even money. I still like them. I made them a minus 110 favorite. My favorite play is the over 8. I made my line's 12.4. So 2 bad pitchers who have both over a 6 ERA on the season. Look what the Birds did to Chris Sale in his first start. 7 runs, 3 innings. Every game Chris Sale has started, the Red Sox have been in a shootout, and they've gone over this number. And Dean Kremer, on the other hand, he's had only 1 good start. 3 of his other 4 have gone over this number. Both teams, they're just over teams in general. 15-7 for Boston towards the over. The Birds 11-8-1 towards the over. It's just how these teams plays. They just get in shootouts, decent lineups, but not the greatest pitching. So I just got to continue to ride here with the over. And I do think the Birds are a little better here at home. So love the over, and I'll take a stab at even money with Baltimore.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused when I just read off that number 8 on the total as well. Dean Kremer, or Kramer, however you want to say it, against the Red Sox in his career, Dylan, 0-4 with a 7.76 ERA. And like you mentioned, Chris Sale faced these Orioles earlier this month where he got absolutely blasted by them. So, yeah, I love the over 8 on this as well. Red Sox bats have come alive a little bit. I know they scored, I think, they put up a 12 spot today against the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the better pitching stats, I guess we could say, in the entire MLB. But let's have come alive a little bit. They will be traveling from Boston to Baltimore. Not a huge significant road trip, but I don't trust either one of these pitchers. So I agree with you about the over 8 between these 2 pitchers. All right, before we continue the conversation here for the Monday schedule, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also already got NFL best ball drafts with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. Again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. All right, Dylan, let's get next game on the board. We have a matchup between maybe 2 of the better American League teams here. We have the Houston Astros. They are going to be heading to Tampa to take on the best team early in this season. That's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. I am seeing projected pitchers of Jose Urquidy for the Houston Astros and Taj Bradley for the Tampa Bay Rays. Houston Rockets, Houston Astros, plus 110 on the money line, minus 130 for the Tampa Bay Rays. Over under set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 120. Run line, minus 1.5 plus 160 for the Tampa Bay Rays, and plus 1.5 minus 190 for the Houston Astros. Tampa Bay Rays right now 13-0 at home. they have a team coming into their stadium here, Dylan, that has kind of been their kryptonite, especially in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Do you think they stay undefeated in this game, or do you the Astros finally break that streak?
I got to ride with the Rays here at home. I got them a minus 125. Still like it at minus 130. I made them a minus 140 favorite. I'm a big fan of Tajah Bradley. Two very solid outings from the kid. Going 5 innings in each game, only 2 walks. Strikeouts are high as well. He struck out 9 and 8. So I think he's going to be better than your Queedy right now. And after that hiccup against the Blue Jays in his last start, I don't know if I really want to back him here on the road against the best team. So he's too inconsistent for me. I definitely need to back the Rays here. They're undefeated, like you said, 13-0. I think their offense is buzzing a little more. Short number here, but I'll take a stab. I'm high on Bradley, so I'm going to go Rays here.
Astros are the number one team as far as team strikeout percentage against right-handed pitching. Let me double check that. So actually, over the last 2 weeks, the Astros are number. Okay, I was wrong about that. Let me. Okay, hold on. Let me double check this because I swear I thought the Astros were up there. Over the last 2 weeks, Astros are number 28. So okay, I was probably looking at something else, but nonetheless, I think you're correct that Taj Bradley has been really solid so far this season. He's played pretty good or faced pretty good offenses. At least in his first start, he went up against the Red Sox, where he did go 5 innings, allowed 3 earned runs in that start, 8 strikeouts in that game, and then against the Reds in his last start, 5 1/3, 3 hits, and 9 strikeouts. So definitely a strikeout pitcher, and the walks are not a concern either here for him as well because he's only given up 2 walks in the 2 starts, 1 in each start so far. Astros are coming off of did they sweep the Braves this weekend? I'm
Yeah,
mistaken.
they did. They did.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think that the Astros will get one of these games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it'll be this first one on Monday night because they are in a travel situation as well. So I'm going to go with the Rays with you as well, minus 130. Definitely look for Taj Bradley strikeout props as well in this game. Like Dylan mentioned, he's had at least 8 in both starts so far this season for the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, next game on the board here, D-Rock. We've got a 6:40 Eastern start. It's going to be the Texas Rangers. They are headed to Cincinnati to take on the Reds. Nathan Eovaldi gets a start for the Texas Rangers, and Nick Lodolo, left-handed pitcher, is on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. Minus 110 both ways on the money line. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of big towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 150 for the Texas Rangers, and plus 1.5 minus 175 for the Cincinnati Reds. Eovaldi so far this season, Dylan, 2-2, 5.40 ERA, 24 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's had 1 bad start, which was against the Royals on the road. Other than that, he's been pretty solid for this Texas Rangers pitching staff. 3 of his 4 starts have actually produced 11 or more combined runs. So 3-1 to the over in his starts. Nick Lodolo, like I mentioned, left-handed pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, 2-1 with a 4.98 ERA. Another strikeout pitcher, 31 strikeouts so far this season. He has given up 7 walks as well. He also had 1 bad start, which was in his last start against the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know how much stock we want to put into that because, again, the Rays are just the best team right now. They're just crushing everybody. Rangers haven't been swinging the bat well against left-handed pitching. I'll say that much, despite them having hot bats this weekend against the Oakland A's. But then again, who's not having hot bats against them?
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks against left-handed pitching, Rangers number 22 in WRC plus, number 25 in batting average, number 23 in OPS, and number 3 in team strikeout percentages. So I'm leaning actually with the Reds in this spot here, despite how well the Rangers have been swinging the bat. But those numbers kind of against left-handed pitching is what really stood out to me. That might be the differentiator between these 2 teams. So I'm leaning with the under in this game, Dylan, and also like the Reds, and also will be on Nick Lodolo's strikeout props in this game.
Yeah, I love the strikeout props until it comes out. They usually come out in the morning, but definitely going to eye that. This game was tough for me, because I did make the Reds a short favorite, minus 105. But, I just haven't gotten to the window with anything just because it's hard for me to back the Reds right now. 3-7, their last 10. They've lost 6 straight. I do like Nick Lodolo. I think he is a tad better than Nathan Eovaldi, but it's just hard for me to back him when their offense ranks bottom half in the league in most categories. So stay away from me, but maybe it's a wait and see if we're able to get a plus 105 or better with the Rangers come game time. I could see myself on the Rangers. As for the total, I do like the under, like you said. I set mine at 8.3. So like the under, and I also do like Nick Lodolo. As a side, I really couldn't choose.
Fair enough. All right, let's get over to the next game on the board. It's going to be let's go over to a American League matchup here. It's going to be a 7:07 Eastern start. Chicago White Sox, they are headed up north to the 6th to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Probable pitchers for this game, I'm seeing Lance Lynn for the White Sox, and Chris Bassett gets a start for the Toronto Blue Jays. Money line right now, plus 145 for the White Sox and minus 170 for the home favorites here in the Blue Jays. Total is set at 9, a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5, plus 115 for the Blue Jays, and plus 1.5, minus 135 for the Chicago White Sox. Dylan, lead us off here, my man.
Yeah, another total for me. First 5 over or full game over 9, whatever you prefer. I made my total 9.8. Really stuck out to me getting a 9. Minus 115, like you said. But just going to fade both pitchers here in this one. I think I mentioned it the other day, but I feel like the only way to bet the White Sox are the over at this point. 12-6-3 toward the over. You can't back them on the side. They're 2-8 in their last 10. And Lance Lynn is just awful. They lose every start he makes, and he just gives up a ton of runs. He and the White Sox they're just an auto fade right now. So can't blame Mal for being on the 14 days. He's probably profitable just fading them, to be honest. So Chris Bassett, he's another guy. He gives up his fair share as well. A little inconsistent for my liking. So I think both offenses, they'll be able to put up some runs tomorrow. Over 9 is a lovely play. And I also like first 5 over.
Yeah, I'm with you. Blue Jays team total over, I think it's worth a look as well. Within the first 5, full game over 9 as well. I'm not backing the White Sox here. I think this price is too heavy for me for the Blue Jays as well. So minus 170, big price there, but I agree with you 100% about the over, first 5 over. That's exactly what I wrote down as well. All right, Dylan, before we continue the conversation here, my man, let me get over to our next presenting sponsor. That's actually going to be the SGPN merch store. In honor of the NBA playoffs, from now until the end of April, get 10% off of anything in the SGPN merch store when you use promo code SGPNBA. So head over to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com and use the promo code SGPNBA for 10% off of everything in the merch store. A lot of great stuff in the merch store, from coffee mugs to t-shirts, hoodies, hats. It's a lot of novelty items as well. I know they launched the Mike Leach tribute shirt last Monday. So definitely check it out in the SGPN merch store. Again, make sure to use promo code SGPNBA for that 10% off. All right, Dylan, let's keep it rolling here, my man. Next game on the board, we're going to let's go down to the ATL. 7:20 start. Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves, a NL East battle here. Edward Cabrera is going to get the start here for the Marlins, and Spencer Strider on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Currently seeing a 2-1 underdog price for the Miami Marlins and minus 240 for the Atlanta Braves. Total is set at 8. Run line minus 1.5, minus 115 for the Braves, and plus 1.5, minus 105 for the Miami Marlins. Edward Cabrera, so far this season, he is 1-1 with a 4.08 ERA. 18 strikeouts, but the one area he has struggled in, like we've talked about a lot, is the walks. He has 16 walks already so far this season. He's been consistent as far as giving up runs. I'll say that much. He's allowed at least 2 earned runs in each of his 4 starts so far this season. Marlins have lost in the first 5 innings in 3 of his 4 starts this season. And he's also been against, it's a small sample size against the Braves. I should say that. This goes back to last season. 8 2/3 innings pitched total against the Braves. 3 earned runs, 7 hits. Again, the walks are an issue for Edward Cabrera. Spencer Strider gets a start for the Atlanta Braves, like I mentioned, 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 11 walks. Braves are 4-0 in its starts and have scored at least 5 runs in all 4 starts for Strider when he makes those starts. Strider does not have a lot of history against the Marlins. Last season, he did face them twice. It was just 1 inning. He did allow, I believe, it was 3 earned runs in those relief appearances, but he's off to a great start so far this season. If the Braves are able to stay patient at the plate here, Dylan, I think that they can again draw the walks against Cabrera and really, this lineup is one of the best in the National League, if not the entire MLB. So I think they'll be able to get to Edward Cabrera here. I am gonna go with the Braves run line here. They are at home. Marlins are traveling from Cleveland down to Atlanta. And I think that Braves are just going to get the nasty taste out of their mouth from getting swept by the Astros this weekend. So I think they take it out on the Marlins this weekend. So I think it starts here with Spencer Strider. I'll take the run line with the Braves here, Dylan.
Yeah, another total for me. I'll take a stab at the under 8. I set my total at 7.2. I like both pitchers. The one concern I do have with Cabrera is, you mentioned it, the walks. He did a better job in his last 2 starts. So if he can continue to keep that up, I think we have a chance to stay under. But if he's wild like he was against the Mets and starts walking a ton of batters, we might be in trouble. And it's good for you, the spread for you. But Spencer Strider, he's been great this season. He's actually been better on the road than at home. But I do like him in this spot against the Marlins, who are a dead under team, 6-14-1 toward the under this season, including 4 of their last 5. I think they get over the hump. I agree on the run line. They've lost 4 in a row, got swept by the Astros. I think coming back home, I think it will help them. So I do like the run line, but official play is the under 8 for me.
Yep. All right. Next game on the board here, we have the Detroit Tigers, 7:40 Eastern start. The Tigers, they are headed up north to take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Matthew Boyd gets a start for the Tigers, and Colin Ray gets a start here for the Milwaukee Brewers. -165 home favorites for the Brewers, +140 on the money line for the Detroit Tigers. Total stood at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5 +125 for the Brewers, and +1.5 -145 here for the Tigers. Like I mentioned, Boyd gets a start here for the Tigers, 0-1 on the season thus far, 4.50 ERA. He's made it to the 5th inning just once in his 3 starts for the Detroit Tigers. Another pitcher where Dylan walks are an issue for. Traditionally in Boyd's career, he's also struggled on the road. He's 17-36 with a 5.54 ERA in his career on the road. And since the 2020 season hasn't been much better. 4-7, the ERA has been consistently bad, 5.28 on the road. Colin Ray, like I mentioned, gets a start for the Brewers. He's won both of the starts so far for the Brewers. He doesn't have a decision yet. Does have a 4.22 ERA. Did in a little bit of trouble against the Mariners in Seattle in his last start, where he allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings. Another team that is traveling from the East Coast to, I guess we could say, the Central Zone here, Dylan, from Baltimore to Milwaukee. I like the Brewers here, man. I think that obviously the price is a little bit out of range for me at -165. I'm not opposed to laying the -1.5 at +125 either, but I'm definitely going to back that. I think what in my eyes is the better pitcher here, which is going to be Colin Ray for the Milwaukee Brewers, Dylan.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe put him in a money line parlay, maybe first 5 -0.5. I took the Brewers today on the run line. They screwed me. I
do
like
that
them.
Same play.
I do like them +1, -1.5 at +125. I needed a +105 to take him on the run line, so I do like that. But Tigers are just another one of those teams where you just can't back right now. They've lost 3 in a row, while Brewers, they're trending hot, 7-4 in their last 11. They have a top 10 offense. I'm not high on either pitcher. I do think Colin Ray is better, but I don't know. I think Matt Boyd is just unbackable right now. The walks are just really a concern for me, and I think the Brewers are a good offense where they'll make him pay for it. They're the better team. They should win this game. So didn't really get it to the window with anything, but maybe a first 5 -0.5, depending on what the price is. But for the show, I like the run line with you as well.
I think I have a lot of pitchers that are on the schedule tomorrow that walks are concerned for. So maybe again, if your book does offer those walks, it should probably. I know DraftKings
Yeah.
offers it, so definitely maybe something to explore tomorrow in
And
this
they're
market.
usually at 1.5. So
Yeah,
if you're
unless it's
able to
like
get
a
a
yeah, like a pitcher that's like really bad, you're going to see the 2.5s. But again, those are really rare. But I think the books have caught on to those pitchers that are just really bad with walks.
Mhm.
But yeah, you'll be able to get those 1.5s. I think you could. Those are nice parlay pieces as well. Maybe some same game parlay pieces.
Yeah.
If you are a SGP better. All right, let's keep it rolling here, Dylan. 7:40 Eastern start. Next game on the board, we have the New York Yankees. They are headed to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Twins. See, Johnny Brito is going to get the start here for the New York Yankees. Sonny Gray gets the start for the Minnesota Twins. Yankees are the road underdog here, plus 110, minus 130 for the Minnesota Twins. Total, I'm sorry, is at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line for the Twins, a minus 1.5 plus 160, and plus 1.5 minus 190 for the Yankees. Dylan, your absolute favorite team in Minnesota. What are you thinking
Yeah.
about this game?
I gotta fade him. I'll take the dog here. I made the Yankees a minus 110 favorite, so getting plus 110. I think this is a great revenge spot for Johnny Brito and the Yankees. Just throw that one start he had out the window. His other 3 starts have been really good for the Yankees. They've won all those starts as well. And don't get me wrong, Sonny Gray's been amazing this year. Don't get me wrong, but I think some regression at some point has to come in for him. And I don't think it's been the best lineups that he's faced. I think the Yankees are a very good team. Think this offense could get to him on the road. I understand. I'm going to fade him. I trust a hotter team, which is the Yankees right now. They have a better lineup, and I think they could get to Gray. So I'll take the plus money here with the Yankees.
I really like the under in this game. I think Yankees are one of the best team towards the under
Yeah.
so far this season. I think they got shut out today by the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken.
One
But
5-1.
oh, they scored one. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think at some point we should see Sonny Gray regress a little bit. But I thought it would be last time against the Boston Red Sox where he does have a really good, the Red Sox traditionally in Sonny Gray's career have been able to get to him, but they weren't able to do that in his last start. So I'm not sure. I don't think there's enough right now for this Yankees offense. Their bottom of their lineup is just atrocious for me. It's really at the top of that lineup where it's Aaron Judge, Anthony Volpe. I mean, he's been pretty solid. I know he had that go ahead 2-run shot. I believe it was on Saturday for the Yankees, but I think I do like the more under in this game. I think that it's still cold temperatures in Minnesota as well. They played another under game today, even though it was against Patrick Corbin. So I think that kind of sticks out to me as well. So I'm going to go with the under in this game. What would your total come out to in this game?
It was at 7.9. It was right at the number,
It's right
so
at the
that's why I
number.
kind of stayed away. But I agree. They're the best team towards the under. Them and the Marlins, 7 and
Yeah.
15. They're hitting it at 68%, and they have the number 1 bullpen. So
Yeah.
I do like the under. If you don't want to stay away from the side, I agree on the under.
All right. Next game on the board. Let's go over to the West Coast. 3 games left here. We've got the Oakland A's, 9:38 Eastern start between the Oakland A's and the LA Angels. AL West matchup here. Ken Wolochuk gets a start for the Oakland A's. Jose Suarez on the mound for the LA Angels. Minus 210 favorites for the LA Angels hosting the Oakland A's. Plus 180 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Total set at 9.5. Run line minus 1.5, minus 110 for the Angels, plus 1.5, minus 110 for the Oakland A's. Ken Wolochuk has been just one of the pitchers that I've been fading the heck out of. Dylan, you going to continue doing that here, or you any chance for the Oakland A's here?
I do like the Angels here on the run line minus 110, but another play I really like better than over. I got it at a 9. It was at minus 120. 9.5, I still like the over as well. I set my line at 9.7. It's just another situation where I think we got to fade both pitchers. 2 pitchers who have an above 7.50 ERA. Yeah, the Angels are the better team. They should win it, but I can't trust Jose Suarez either. Both pitchers should give up a decent amount of runs. Oakland is so bad. They're the best team towards the over, 15-6 towards the over, 8-1 toward the over on the road. We have 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing out of center field as well. So I think it could be Ken Wolochuk getting blown up again. So the Angels could get the over themselves. I think the A's could tack on. Even though they've been losing, they've been still averaging about 4 to 5 runs a game. So I think they could get some off Suarez as well. So I'm going to go over 9.5. And I also do like Angels run line.
At the Angels run line for me all the way here. I know Ken Wolochuk faced the Angels. I think it was his first start of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to pull that up right now. Yeah. Back on April 2nd, he went 5 2/3, allowed 6 earned runs in that game to the Angels. He gave up 9 hits, Dylan, and 3 of those hits were home runs by the Angels. And like you mentioned, the wind is blowing out in LA tomorrow in Angel Stadium. I think that you're right. I could see a world where the Angels get 10 by themselves. So I'm looking at a stack again. I did this I think it was on Friday or Saturday for the Angels. Cashed on the run line, cashed on their team totals as well. So I'm gonna get behind the Angels here in every way that I can. I know Wolochuk had a great start in his last start against the Cubbies, but I think this Angels team is really familiar with him, especially being in that same division. So Angels -1.5 for me all the way here as well. All right, next game on the board. Let's go over to a 9:40 Eastern start. The Kansas City Royals. They are going to be in Arizona. Don't see pitchers listed as far as a book that I'm looking at, but the pitchers that I handicapped in this game was Brad Keller and Tommy Henry. Is that what you had, Dylan?
Yeah, that's what I had as well.
All right, perfect. So let me start here with Brad Keller. He's actually been possibly the best pitcher so far this season for the Royals. At least numbers wise, 2-2 so far this season with the ERA right at 3.00, 18 strikeouts, 13 walks. Again, like I mentioned, when we talk about when these pitchers have about 3 to 4 walks, 3 to 4 starts under their belts and they're at 10 plus walks, that's a concern for me. He's allowed at least 3 walks and 3 of the 4 starts has Brad Keller. And 3 out of the 4 starts have seen a combined 10 or more runs in the starts that Brad Keller has given to the Kansas City Royals. He's actually been great in his 2 starts on the road, in specific against the Texas Rangers and the San Francisco Giants. The last 2 weeks, this is something I wanted to look at for the Arizona Diamondbacks, is how they've done against right-handed pitching. So they're number 4 in team batting average against right-handed pitching, number 10 in OPS, and number 13 in WRC+. For the 5 wins so far this season, I think we talked about this on Friday with myself and Malcolm, that Kansas City's 4 of the 5 wins have actually come on the road. They're like 1-12 or 1-13 at home so far this season. This is going to be Tommy Henry's first start of the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Last year, he was 3-4 with a 5.36 ERA. There has been a minimum of 9 runs scored in all of his starts last season. But I'm not sure I can trust Tommy Henry in his first start here. I know we're talking about the Royals here, but if there's one pitcher that I'm going to trust, it's probably going to be Brad Keller for me for the Kansas City Royals. I think this might be a game where we do see runs. I'm going to lean with the over, or I do like the over. I will play the over. And I slightly lean towards the Royals here, as crazy as that sounds here, Dylan.
Yeah, this one was another tough one to choose, especially a side on. My numbers did make the D-backs a -170 favorite. So at the current number, I feel like I have to back them. But like you said, this is Tommy's first start of the season. I kind of want to see him make a few starts before backing him. And he wasn't the best at home last season either. And Brad Keller, like you said, he's been solid. If you're going to trust one pitcher on this Royals team, I think it has to be him. I actually like the under. I made my total 9. Okay. Royals won't score too many runs. They have 2 today against the Angels. Yeah. And I think Keller will do a good job limiting the bats of the Snakes. So nothing on the side. Maybe if a lot of money steams in on the Snakes, maybe I could get in on the Royals later. Yeah. But as of right now, I kind of lean towards the under 10 here.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the more I mean, do you really want to put your hard-earned money on the Royals? And then, like you mentioned, we need to see some data from Tommy Henry before we can, really handicap on how he's going to be doing this season. Because last season it wasn't very good for him, especially I think it was a tail end of the year where I think he was just automatic fade material for the Arizona Diamondbacks because he just wasn't having a lot of success in the starts that he did have.
Yeah.
at that end of the 2020 season. So,
That's Noah's
well,
boy, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe next in his next start, we'll see how he does in his first start here. Maybe Noah has some more information on Tommy Henry.
Yep.
All right. I think last game of the board, we had the St. Louis Cardinals. They are going to be in San Francisco to take on the Giants. I see Jordan Montgomery is going to get the start for the St. Louis Cardinals, and I handicap Alex Cobb. Is that what you have?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Perfect. He will get the start for the Giants. Looking at the prices here, minus 125 for the St. Louis Cardinals, plus 105 for the San Francisco Giants. Total is set at 8, with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5, plus 135 for the St. Louis Cardinals, and plus 1.5, minus 155 for the Giants. Start with Jordan Montgomery here. 2-2 on the season, 4.84 ERA, 19 strikeouts to 5 walks. Got off to a good start, but he did get into some trouble in his last start against the Arizona team that we just talked about. Montgomery has been great on the road since he actually joined the St. Louis Cardinals from the Yankees in that trade. And also what struck out, Giants are struggling against left-handed pitching this season. Over the last 2 weeks, they're number 5 in team strikeout percentage against left-handed pitching, number 21 in WRC plus, number 21 in team batting average. Alex Cobb, like I mentioned, he does get the start here for the Giants. He's been pretty good, actually. I mean, despite an 0-1 record, he has a 2.79 ERA, 22 strikeouts, only 3 walks, I believe, for Alex Cobb. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of the starts. He's pitched well in San Francisco, but he doesn't get the run support, is what I really looked at when I was going through his game logs. Cobb did face the Cardinals once last season, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Cardinals won that game 3-2. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I know the Giants are playing on Sunday night baseball. It's not a travel situation for them. But the Cardinals, I think they are in Seattle right now playing, so not a huge travel spot for them. I think I couldn't get away from the batting numbers that really stuck out to me for the Giants against left-handed pitching. So I think this might be a lower scoring game. I'm hoping this number gets pushed up to 8.5, where I can come on the under. And Alex Cobb has been pretty solid. So like the under, and I lean with the St. Louis Cardinals in this game here, Dylan.
Yeah, another one, tough one to choose. I got an 8 over. I kind of like that. I made my total 8.4, so it's right in the middle between what we both like. If I had to choose, I do like the Cardinals. I made them a minus 130 favorite, but usually we like to fade teams who play on Sunday Night Baseball. But like you said, they're staying home, don't have to travel. And the Cardinals, they're not really traveling that far either. I think they're just coming down the West Coast from Seattle. They are winning right now. The Giants bullpen is just so bad, and I think that's why I find myself on the over, because I think when Alex Cobb gets out of the game, I think they could just blow it open, the Cardinals in this lineup. They have the better lineup, and I think they could score a few off of Cobb as well. You got winds blowing out into center field, so small lean towards the over, but I agree. I think we are getting a short price here on the Cardinals, which I still think, I think they're a buy low team right now. They started out 8 and 13, and
Yeah.
I think we're getting good prices on them, and I think the market hasn't adjusted. So minus 125, I do like the Cardinals here.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an advantage, but I think that is an advantage when a team hasn't seen a pitcher. I think that just works in the favor of the pitcher. And maybe maybe later when a team sees or gets more tape on a pitcher that their team has faced, I think that's when they can make their adjustment. But I think at least in the first start for me, I feel like the starting pitcher has the more advantage over the team. So I do like the Cardinals side here as well. I agree with you about that. Was that our last game, Dylan?
Yes, sir.
11 games, and we got through it in about 40 minutes. That's called efficiency. So as we see, this is what happens when you don't have Mal on the pod, who gives it derails really fast, and then we got to get back on track, and that's why it takes so long. So if Mal is listening, this is 40 minutes. We got through 11 games. All right, Dylan, let's close it out strong here. Let's get this week started off in the right foot. Let's give out some winners here to our listeners. Why don't you lead us off with your lock and dog for the Monday games?
Yeah, lock. I had mentioned it earlier, just jumped out of the page. I'm going to go over in the Red Sox and Orioles game and just kind of fade both pitchers. They're both awful. Chris Sale, Dean Kramer. The over is 11-8 with the Orioles, 15-7 towards Boston. We saw another over today against the Milwaukee Brewers. So love the over here. I think both pitchers are going to give up a lot of runs. And as for my dog, I didn't really like too much plus money, but let's take the road puppy in the Yankees plus 110. I think this is a nice revenge spot for him, especially Johnny Brito, who he couldn't even get out of the first inning at Yankee Stadium. The Twins just they went up and down the lineup on him. So Yankees, they've won the other three of his starts. I think we're going to see some regression out of him. Hopefully, if he doesn't, shame on me. We got to continue to back Sonny Gray then. But I think the Yankees could get to him a little bit. So hoping for some regression for Sonny Gray. Give me the Yankees as a dog.
All right. All right. So for my lock, I am going to go with the LA Angels -1.5, -110. I'm just going to continue fading Ken Waldichuk here. I think I mentioned it that he had a start earlier this season against the LA Angels, where the Angels were absolutely just blasted him within those first couple of innings. He allowed 6 earned runs, gave up 3 home runs in that game. Angels won that game 6-0. That was in Oakland. Now we're headed back here to LA for the Oakland A's here. And that was a game in the first start where Mike Trout homered, Shohei Ohtani homered. So expect obviously both guys to be in the lineup. So and then again, Jose Suarez last season faced this A's team twice, and he shut them out in the 2 starts that he pitched against them. I believe it was 12 innings that he went up against them in last season. Let me double check that here. Yeah, both in August of last season, 12 innings pitched. He allowed 7 hits, 0 earned runs against the Oakland A's. So I'm going to continue fading the bad pitching. Give me the LA Angels as my lock. For my dog, it's probably going to be another run line play here. Um, it's a very very small puppy, but I already bet this. Cleveland Guardians -1.5 plus 105. Cal Quantrill on the mound against the Rockies. Ask Gomber. I think we can say Austin Gomber has been bad as well for the Colorado Rockies, but I think that we talked about how bad the Rockies have been on the road. Austin Gomber has been atrocious as well. And I trust Cal Quantrill more in Cleveland. So, not a travel situation for the Cleveland Guardians, I don't believe, because they were at home this weekend. God, who do they play this weekend? Was
Miami.
They play the Marlins, right? Yeah. So they're at home. Not a huge travel situation. Small puppy, -1.5 plus 105 for the Cleveland Guardians are going to be my 2 plays for the Monday schedule.
Love it. Yeah.
All right, man. 45 minutes. We get the job done here, Dylan. Anything else we need to mention before we get out of here, buddy?
No, just the usual. We got a few more reviews over the weekend, I think I saw, but yeah, other
We
than
did?
that, yeah, I thought so. Unless I'm
Well, we got some
late to
time
the
here.
party.
Let
Unless I'm late to
me
the party.
see here. Oh, that's not the right one. Podcast reviews. Let's see. I think I did see some come across. I'm trying to pull it up here. So the last one we got was from Tex Watson. Actually, we got 2 that came in. So Tex Watson leaves us a 5-star review, and he says another high quality pod from SGPN. MLB Gambling Pod is yet another high quality pod from SGPN, displaying their diverse array of handicappers. Funny and informative, just like the college experience, NBA, tennis, and all the other top tier shows they have to offer.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you,
That's
Tex
nice.
Watson. That's a very, very nice review. And then we got another one from Mickey MA 1983. Oh, this is our friend from Australia, our friend Michael, I think. He leaves us a 5-star review as well, and he says, very informative show. A must listen for baseball fans and bettors. Very informative and a great way to get ahead of the game. So, Michael, yeah, he's one of our regulars now. He pops in every time we go, at least during the
during the week.
during the week he pops in, but he joins the conversation. So, Michael, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for leaving us a review. Well, pod has gone international. I'm not talking about Newcastle upon Tyne, but we've gone over to Australia now. So thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it. I messaged Mal this morning because I saw the Newcastle score. Like when I woke up this morning, I went to use the restroom, and I bet the over on the game for Newcastle and Spurs game. I just checked the score, and I kind of had to scratch my eyes to make sure I read the right score because it was 5-0.
Who?
Newcastle. They scored like
Wow.
three. Yeah, they scored 3 goals, I think, within like the first 8 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're a pretty good team.
Yeah, well, either that or the Spurs just suck. But we'll get more information from Mal maybe tomorrow and then he goes on to send me a selfie of himself with the field in the back. I was like, that's not what I want to see right now.
Is he with his friends from the casino?
I don't know. I think he has season tickets. I think he takes his kids with him. I'm not sure, but we can find out tomorrow when he's on the pod.
Nice. Millionaires, they got season tickets to everything.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's just an animal. What can we say?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast for the Monday show. Make sure to follow Dylan on Twitter at Rock with 2Ks 24. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. More importantly, make sure to follow the MLB Gambling Podcast account on Twitter at MLB SGPN. And then make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for the MLB Gambling Podcast. When you do subscribe, you'll get that notification of when we do go live every single day. All right, we'll be back on Monday around 5 p.m. Eastern. You know, guys knows how we do it, the regular time in some form or fashion. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.